What's up, Hindsighters? It's your favorite host, Rhasheeda Davis, and the Indie Grind is back with another segment. Today we're here with hip-hop artist Genesys. Welcome to the Indie Grind, Genesys. Thanks for hanging with us today. How are you?
I'm all good. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Genesys, from the Bronx. How is everybody?
So tell us a little bit about yourself, Genesys. What led you into becoming a hip-hop artist?
It's a long story. All right, so to just shorten it, I've been working in music for around 4 years. Right, I started in 2016. However, I've always had inspirations in music. I've always been doing music since I was a kid. I was just very shy about it. I wouldn't do it in front of other people. I would do the cliche nonsense, but I would do it in the shower when no one's around. Whatever. And then in 2016, when I went to college, I was like, yo, I can't be timid anymore. I can't do this anymore. I got to show my talent out. Because if I live a life of being nervous all the time, then I'm never going to get anything done. So I decided to put myself out there. I'm Genesys, and at first, I'm not going to lie, no one took me seriously. Everyone thought it was like a hobby. Everyone thought that shit was going to die out in 2 years. And then, 4 years later, and I already have, 4 singles out, got a mixtape out, I already have an EP coming out, so now everybody sees me as an artist, so that's where I am.
Wow. So the people who doubted you in the beginning, have they changed their minds about you? Do you still, talk to them, or I told you so? What's that like?
It's actually more ironic because I don't talk to them as much. However, they do listen to my music. So the same people who doubted me are the same ones listening to my track. So that's lit.
Oh, perfect. Is that kind of what Guinea Mode is about for the haters, some of the haters?
Yeah. Because from the other tracks, I was more focused on something else. I had a topic. So this one, I had to go cocky about it. Even the song, because Genny is a nickname for Genesis and stuff. And I just made it up on the spot. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to be as cocky as I can. And then that's Genny Mode. All right.
Wow, nice. So, Genesys, what did your parents think when you first told them that you wanted to take up music?
Oh, man. All right. So I got traditional Dominican parents. So, they don't see music as a career. So my father specifically, he was like, oh, you know how many people become artists, 1 in 1 million, to make it to the mainstream? You have to get really lucky. You have to have people backing you. And I'm like, all right, just be patient. My mother was more concerned, but not necessarily on the level of my father. My father thought that I was making a mistake. My father thought that I should focus on my studies because he thought I was going to be a lawyer, right?
Right.
But being honest, man, no offense to lawyers out there, but that's boring. The only thing that's exciting is the actual courtroom trials and stuff like that. But 9 times out of 10, most lawyers are just doing contracts, and that's boring. I don't want to be doing paperwork all the time. So, yeah.
Yeah, because I was looking you up, and you recently graduated college last May, I think.
Yeah.
How was it balancing school and your music career? Did you have to slow down on the music until you graduated, or was it easier than you thought?
No, I had to slow down because I had school, music, and a job at the same time. So the only time I can work on music would be in between classes because my schedule, it would be an hour between each class. So every time on that hour, I would get something to eat, sit down at the lounge, and just open my Mac and just work on music for a little while.
Okay. Wow. So you would definitely have to slow down on that one because, school is school. So I can understand that one. So Let's talk about your single, Juliet, that was released just last year. When I listen to it, it's definitely about a special someone. Is that someone who influenced you into writing this song?
That's a bit complicated. So Juliet and Only One, they both about the same topic. It's both about this special someone and stuff like that. I'm being honest with you, that special someone is generalized. I don't necessarily have a special someone here. I'm single out here. If anybody want to hit me up, they can. I'll put my social media out there. But I wanted people to relate to the song because I like to make music where people can relate. Even if it doesn't relate to my particular story, as long as other people can take that song and relate it to their lives, then I'm doing a good job in my opinion.
Right. So is that normally what your writing process is like? You just pick a subject and rap about it, or, sometimes go off of feeling? Just depends on what you want to do that day?
Honestly, it all has to do with the beat.
Okay.
When I get the beat, right, I determine the topic based off of the beat. So, you heard Genny Mode, right? So, you know how fast-paced that beat is going to be. I'm not going to write a love song to that beat, all right?
Of course, yeah.
So
it just doesn't work.
I basically go based off of the beat. That's how I determine the topic of my song.
Okay, you went off the beat on Guinea Modes because you said that was pretty much for your haters. What made you actually go for the haters, for certain people who didn't believe in you, or just the cockiness of the whole song? What made you take that route in this beat when you heard Guinea Mode beat?
Oh man, when I heard that beat, I was lit. It was one of the best beats I've ever heard in my opinion. Shout out to Litton Scott. He's a really dope producer. So when I heard that beat, at first I didn't know I was gonna write about me being cocky. I just started writing, right? And the first words that I wrote, the first two lines to the first verse, and it was I'm like Neo in the Matrix. I'm in love with the whips. Yeah, these niggas think I'm racist, right? So I was like, oh, that's fire. And then afterwards, I just kept writing, and I started to realize that I had a theme to it. It was about me. So pretty much midway through the song was when I started to realize that it was a cocky track, and it was about me. It was about me per se, my whole personality. I didn't really get the idea of doing it in the beginning. That was mid-track.
Okay. Gotcha. What would you say that you enjoy the most about being in the music industry?
The writing. Definitely the writing. Honestly, I'll put recording second, but with the writing. Every single time when it's nighttime and there's no one awake, I'm just sitting down on my bed and I just whip up my Mac and just start writing. That's the best moment of my life. I'll be getting so lit up. I'll be getting so turned up. And whenever I start rehearsing my own tracks and listening to myself, yo, you should see me. I have the biggest smile on earth.
Yeah. It's that was good. Let me keep on going. It just kind of pushes you to keep on going. Yeah.
I'd be like, yo, who's this? Yo, who's this? That's me.
Right. Wow. Well, what is your favorite song to perform?
What's my favorite song to perform? This is an old track. It was my first music video. It was part of my mixtape on SoundCloud, Dreams, right?
Oh, yes, I heard that one.
Yeah. I feel that song definitely catapulted my confidence. Because even when I was coming out with my mixtape and I was on my way to writing my first single, I didn't feel confident. I still felt like I still had something to prove. Even though my manager will always tell me that the only people you should be competing with are those who have millions of dollars. Because every other underground artist around you, you shouldn't focus on them. You should just focus on getting millions of dollars. That should be your competition. But for some reason, I always had something to prove with these underground artists. I felt like I was in a competition with them. I had to do something to get their attention until Dreams came out, right? And that surprised me, right? So I was like, we definitely gotta make a music video for this. And I made that music video. I rented a Airbnb for 3 days at around a beach house, and I specifically had people coming over and things like that. And it was one of the best experiences of my life. So translating that to the stage, I performed that song a lot of times. I'm not performing that song anymore because I have to evolve, I have to adapt. But back in the day, especially from June to maybe October, I was performing that song all the time.
Wow. What about now? What's your favorite song? Because that was back in the day. What about your recent song?
Definitely got to be a tie between Whoa or Jenny Mode. Now, I just recently performed Jenny Mode 2 weeks ago. It was my first time ever performing that track, and it was it. It was dope. That's the type of song where you have to have a lot of energy, right? And Whoa is similar to that. I don't know if you listened to Whoa.
I did. That's the one with the video. Yep, I did.
Yeah, that's one of my second videos.
Mm-hmm.
I love those two tracks because the energy around it is crazy. I have to be doing something. I have to be jumping around. I have to be moving from side to side. I have to be doing something. It gets me pumped.
Yeah, that makes sense. And plus, if you're pumped, it's everybody just feeds off of each other because you got you on stage, the crowd, and you're pumped. They're getting pumped. So you get them pumped, and then them being pumped gets you pumped. So everybody's just live, and it's just a good time, So I could definitely understand that one because those two songs are live for sure. So most definitely. So let's go to Childish Gambino, okay? Because I heard that you heard of his song 3005 on the radio, and you felt like you could relate to it. So how do you feel now? Because this was way back in, 2014, right? Yep. I think so. Fast forwarding to today, how do you feel when you think about Childish Gambino, you relating to him, and how do you feel about that now, thinking back?
Yeah, Childish Gambino is definitely my favorite artist of all time. Shout out to Donald Glover. When I listened to 3005, I didn't know who Childish Gambino was, but I liked the track, so I started doing research about him. And then I went back on his older albums like Camp in 2011, because of the internet in 2013 and stuff like that, and, you know, etc. And every single time, like, the big theme of what he writes, like, the demographic that he writes to, is like that nerdy black kid, right? And I feel like that's what I am. I'm a nerdy black kid, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, yo, I can relate to this, you know, because I can switch up, like, the way I speak, like, on a dime. I could switch up, I'm going for, like, very high vocabulary, or switch it up to talking, like, slang. And, you know, Charles Gambino can relate, you know, and I think he was the first person, in my opinion, that started speaking up to that type of audience, the nerdy black kid. Because I feel like that was very underrepresented in hip-hop. And in the beginning, I started to model my music after him, but then once I started developing my own style, now I just use him as an influence. Like, my music and his music don't sound the same anymore. But back then, it did.
Gotcha. Like you said earlier, it sounded like him before, but once you, you know, come into your own self, you know, it's going to change, because you're not going to stay the same, especially because you've been doing it for a couple of years. So it's definitely going to change. You'll still have maybe, you know, his style a little bit, or, you know, like you said, the nerdy black kid, but you got to evolve, which is what you've been doing for sure. So, Genesys, what's an average day like for you? If you wake up, what happens? What's next?
What's an average day? Okay. I'm most of the time working, man. I got to get the money to support my music. So, most of the time, like, in the daytime, I'm, like, working all the time. I get boring. But, like, in the nighttime, that's different. Now, in the nighttime, I'm either at the studio. I go to Plug Studios. I'm either at the studio or I'm at some, like, networking event, talking to people, getting people's numbers, going to open mics, things like that. Things to keep me active. But 9 times out of 10, I'm at the studio.
Okay. So if you could have your fans remember one thing about you, just one, what would it be?
One thing about me, just one. I'm a nerdy black kid. Nah, I'm joking. I think, honestly, I just want to emphasize the fact that I'm different. Because a lot of the times in hip-hop, I hear the same complaints, especially when it comes to the mainstream. The things that they talk about are the same. The way they act is the same. The way they dress is the same. You know, I'm different. Like, I'm willing to, like, have a trap song, to have a lyrical song, to have a love song. I'm like, I don't care what subject I have. I'm not going to limit myself. My style, I feel like I can plug it to any form of hip-hop. I feel like I'm different. And the cool thing is that me being Latino is that I can also rap in Spanish. And my next song is going to be in Spanish as well. So that's like a cool... Yeah, I'm going to have, like, a whole reggaeton song and stuff. So I'm going to have, like, a different... different vibe. Yeah.
I'm going to need you to come on with that one, because I love reggaeton. I love that. Like bachata, all of that stuff. I'm going to need that one, Genesys.
It's in my blood. I got to do it.
That's right. So where do you think you would be if you weren't doing music?
Most likely, I would have probably gave up on law anyways, because I don't have a passion for it. Probably either running track, because I love to run track. I used to be in my university track team and my high school track team. So I would probably take that serious. Either that or swimming. I also used to be in a swimming team. Or, like, and this is going to sound corny, but, like, video games. Back in the day, I used to take that really serious. So I would not be surprised if I went to, like, esports or something like that.
Taking people's money, I guess, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what people do. That's what they do nowadays.
So what's next for Genesys? You got any functions coming up, any venues, anything? Albums, EPs, like you said, anything?
Definitely the most recent thing will be the EP. I have an EP coming out late February, early March. It might be delayed, but it will most definitely be like around February or March. And it will be a 6-track EP. It's going to be called Flow Motion. That's going to be different because it's going to be a lot more personal. A lot of the things on Flow Motion is going to be about me. So it's something different to tackle into.
Okay, nice. Right. Would you like to give out any shout-outs?
What? Of course. All right. So I want to give a shout-out to you, Rhasheeda, because obviously, like, I've never been in this level. It's cool to be in this type of environment, you know. I want to give a shout-out to my manager, Hayes. He's been holding it down since 2016. Every single time, he always comes up with new ideas. He's hands-on, and at the same time, he's busy. So I like that, you know. I'd like to give a shout-out to Darrell for giving me this opportunity to begin with. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't even be here. I spoke with the connections that he gives me. Shout-out to pretty much all my team. Like, I have a team in London, and I have to give a shout-out to them as well for always distributing my tracks and stuff like that. And outside of just teams, I want to give a shout-out to my friends, you know. Specifically, my 3 best friends have been with me since, like, 2009. Known them for, like, 11 years. It's been 11 years. So I definitely want to give a shout out to my boy Kenneth, my boy Antonio, and my boy Alex. Been with me since like day one, you know.
Okay. So, Genesys, can you let the Hindsighters know how to stay connected with you? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter?
Okay, so I got Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, right? So on Instagram, that's the one I use the most, is at Genesys Music. So Genesys with a Y, so Genesys, and then music. No space, no capitals, just Genesys Music, right? Also, on my Twitter, it's the same thing, but with 38. So it'll be at Genesys Music 38. No space, no capitals, just at Genesys Music 38. And my Facebook, and this is where it gets different, it's official space Genesys, right? And just remember that there's Y, no I. I hate it when people spell my name with an I. So Genesys. No, like I'm dead serious. Like I've been getting tight when people spell my name with an I. That's annoying.
You're right. You got to get the name right, if anything. I mean, come on.
And Genesys with an I is a female's name. So, like, nah.
Yeah.
Nah. So, make sure it's with a Y. That's very important.
Okay. Perfect. Well, thank you, Genesys, so much for being a part of the Indie Grind. Thank you for hanging with us today, and we wish you the best and would definitely love to have you back to share more updates with us.
All right. It's been lit, you know. Have a good one.
You too. Thank you. Well, Hindsighters, again, that was hip-hop artist Genesys, Genesys. Be sure to stay connected and check him out on Facebook at official space Genesys, Genesys, Instagram at Genesys Music, and be sure to follow him also on Twitter, Genesys Music 38. And you guys be sure to check out his 6-track EP, Flow Motion. It's coming out late February, early March. And also connect with me on Facebook and Instagram at The Indie Grind to see some new material from new artists. Thank you so much for tuning in to The Indie Grind. That's all for this segment. I'm Rhasheeda Davis, and that's my time. Until next week, keep on grinding. Peace.